Today, I'm reviewing Silver Bullet, the Bolliger and Mabillard inverted coaster at Knott's Berry Farm in Buena Park, California. Silver Bullet is often considered the worst B&M invert, and I don't quite think that's the fairest description of the ride. While I agree it's one of the poorer inverts out there, Silver Bullet is still a really good coaster. It's just being compared to some of B&M's best designs. Located at the front of the park, Silver Bullet absolutely dominates that area of the park. Its monstrous Cobra Roll is the first thing you see when you enter Knott's. Now, I know Knott's is cramped for space, so I understand they placed Silver Bullet where they could, but I'm personally not a fan of the coaster's location. I think it clutters up the front of the park. That being said, the coaster itself does sport a fresh coat of paint, so it does everything to look nice. In terms of seat selection, I have a slight preference on the front for Silver Bullet, and that's entirely for the view. The forces feel pretty similar across the entire train. Silver Bullet stands 146 feet tall, which makes it one of the taller inverts. In fact, there are only 6 that are taller. So logically, you'd think Silver Bullet should have a good drop with all that height. It doesn't. Calling the first drop a drop is an insult to all other drops out there. So I'm going to refer to it as a ramp. I have no clue what the angle of descent is on this ramp, but I'm pretty sure it would be ADA compliant. It's that shallow. But really, that's the only part of Silver Bullet I can mock. The rest of the ride is quite good. The following loop is decently forceful, but where you really get all those G's are on the pullout. That's followed by this funky overbank that's unlike anything I've seen on a B&M invert. It's not very forceful, but the visuals more than compensate. It feels almost like an RMC wave turn without the ejector airtime. And like the vertical loop, the pullout from this element is fairly forceful. Then comes the Cobra Roll. The two inversions themselves aren't forceful at all, but the transition between the inversions peculiarly has some force to it. As a whole, Silver Bullet is an incredibly smooth ride, but there is one exception, and that's the exit from the Cobra Roll. I'm not quite sure why this spot is so rough, but it will give your head a good jolt if you're not ready for it. That's followed by a really floaty 0G roll. You then soar over the midway and careen through 2 corkscrews. Those 3 inversions happen so fast you don't realize they've occurred. These final 2 corkscrews aren't as snappy as the older B&M inverts, but they're as snappy as an inversion gets on Silver Bullet. And that leads into the finale, the Helix. This Helix is no joke. This Helix has some incredibly powerful G's. I'd go as far to say it's one of the most forceful elements on any B&M. You will feel the blood rush to your feet and your legs will be tingling when you hit the brake run. It's surprising just how forceful this element is in comparison to the rest of the ride, but I love it. So what do I rank Silver Bullet? I'd give it an 8 out of 10. It's a smooth invert with some good forces when you least expect it, namely on the pullouts from the elements and that crazy final helix. It just doesn't offer the snappiness of the other B&M inverts. That's why I ranked Silver Bullet 16th out of the 18 different B&M inverted coasters I've been on. But I'll emphasize this again. I like all the B&M inverts. Silver Bullet is a solid coaster in the Knott's Berry Farm lineup. What are your thoughts on Silver Bullet? Do you think it's the worst B&M invert? I'd love to hear your thoughts below. Subscribe for more coaster reviews, and thanks for listening.